Hey, and thanks for joining me again today for another monthly webinar put on for your benefit from CBC Coaching, distributed out to the membership of the National Chimney Sweep Guild. We do this every month as a public service for the industry, and we hope you get value out of it each and every time we do this. So what's this month's edition? As you're getting this, you're smack in the middle of what we call the busy season. I bet your phone's starting to ring off the hook. I bet you things are starting to happen. I bet it's that last quarter of the year, and it's that magic quarter. So the thing is your team all ready? Have you got them all trained up, all ready to go? Everything going on? See, training season historically in our industry has gone. It starts somewhere in January or February every year. We start having different things going on. Then we go into conventions and we go into regional meetings and distributors do things around the country and everything else. But here's what you got to be looking at. What is your training program? Let me ask you a question. You get a new raw rookie walks in your door. How do you take them rapidly from that position of being a rookie up to an income producing veteran? You know the kind of guy I'm talking about. He's a guy, he produces income for you. It's not just the guy, it's also the gals. You got to train it in the field, the guys and the gals in the field, and then you got to come back and the guys and the gals in the office. They got to have their level of training too. So what you got to do is be able to move your people from being a rookie into a veteran, but even more from there, you got to keep going with that training. This has got to be continuous. It's got to be ongoing. So what I tell you to do right now is look at your own program. What is your training program? Do you have a training layout? Do you have a laid out strategy for where they're going to accomplish in these 30 days of their development years? And their development years are going to continue on. See, that's one of the things about superstars. They keep on learning. And to be that superstar, hey, it's going to take training. It's going to be ongoing. And in fact, it's going to be never ending. And I think a great thing right here to look at is I've shared a quote here from the great Zig Ziglar. It says, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start if you're going to be great. I think that's a great thing. So this is the question. How are you starting them? And then after you start them, how do you invigorate them? And how do you go even further? Earlier this week, I had the honor of having dinner with a gentleman by the name of Philip Hatfield. And Philip is a person that faced tremendous odds in his life. He was actually trained to speak by the immortal Zig Ziglar. He was with Zig when Zig died, when he passed from this earth. But what he also did during this time is Philip experienced a tremendous thing. And that tremendous thing that he experienced was he was in a severe accident. And today, Philip doesn't have one of his legs. But I can tell you, the guy is truly inspiring. And that's my hope for you today as you listen to this. How am I going to help inspire you to greatness? One of that's going to be, again, I'm going to encourage you. Leadership skills. Leadership skills, you got to have those. You got to have the right culture on your team. If you don't have the right culture, it's not going to mesh together. You got to hire people that fit into your culture. You got to have systems to get your people in knowing what you want, how to provide it, and to put it all together. The mortar that cements it all together is going to be your training program. So I'd like for you to stop a moment today and analyze. You bring a raw recruit into what we do. There is a phenomenal amount of information that this person has got to learn. And what's going to happen is if we're not careful, we're going to dump so much information on them so fast. They're going to go into an overload situation and they're going to shut down. That's why training people is such a difficult task, and it's not the easiest task that you'll ever do. You see, in order to train people, you've got to know all the learning styles, and there's distinct different learning styles. You got to understand how to touch the various generations. You got to be able to train and connect with people that are not in your generation. You got to train people, connect with them. They could be younger than you, or even more significant challenge is when you train someone that's from an older generation than you are. And as we go along and as life, you know, passes and life goes on, we've got to understand we have new people entering the workforce all the time. When I ask people, hey, what's your number one challenge in business? So often it comes back, it's my people, Jerry. My people are driving me crazy. My people are this and my people are that. So as I start asking questions as a coach, what I often find is we're not really equipping our people to perform at their best. We're really not setting them up to be superstars. You know, a guy in the industry named Mark Stoner, admire him a lot, very charismatic guy. And he told me something one time because I shared with him, Mark, you got a team of real superstars here. These are true rock stars. I've trained these guys, trained a lot of people around the country in my time. And he told me something. He said, but Jerry, to set the stage for a superstar, it takes a stage manager. And that's what a manager is. He's setting the stage for success. So my question to start with is, are you setting the stage for the success of your people? And you see, today, there's more and more information that we've got to know. This came to me several years ago. I was teaching a class. It was entry level chimney sweeps. It was in a certification class. And I was going over the NFPA, how we changed the standard in 1984 and went from what many would call a slammer insert. We called them slide-ins. We called it the way it was back in those days. But all of a sudden, NFPA changed their 211 standard in 1984. And they changed the way that we installed stoves. Well, as I went through this, one of the students raised his hand and he said, Jerry, I got a problem here. Well, tell me what your problem is. You're talking about things that happened before I was ever born. And you know, it was what I call one of those magic moments. It was a magic moment in my teaching career because all of a sudden I understood something. I was able to absorb slowly over many years the changes as they occurred. And you see a lot of people in the industry like that. A lot of guys that are, you may think have been here forever. I see superstars like Jim Brewer. I see guys like Bob Fish, Finger Ingard, Kitten Robinson. God, this list goes on and on and on of guys that were here minute from years and years. I see the mid-level guys, the guys that came in the 80s and into the 90s. And I see newer people that have come into it after the year 2000. And as this grows, what happens is it takes more and more and more information, and we're processing it, and we got to put this to work. Kind of like running a business. You know, at one time, all you had to do was run an ad in the Yellow Pages. So as the Yellow Pages come out, you know, you was going to have all the work. You remember if you're around the old days, what it was like whenever the Yellow Pages was delivered? We all ran out to see, hey, who's our new competition this year? Happened every year. I can remember now. We got our Yellow Pages every year in September. Every year. At the same time, the county fair is going on. And as I'm making this webinar today, this is Fair Week. So I know right back, looking back years ago, I would have been looking in the Yellow Pages. Well, I wonder who's coming up against me this year. Ain't like that no more. Today, you got to check things like Google Maps. You got to see who's building reviews. See, in today's world, your competition doesn't need to wait till the Yellow Pages come out. Your competition can launch right now, today, and hit an intensive marketing campaign. But see, one of the things that's going to grow your marketing program is going to be attaining the maximum amount of reviews from your customers. See, reviews are testimonials, and testimonials are what sells you. One of my mentors, one of my coaches was Jeffrey Gitomer, phenomenal sales coach. wrote one of the best-selling books on sales ever written, The Little Red Book of Sales. And this is what Jeffrey shared with me when I went through sales coach training with Jeffrey. He said that the testimonial-driven sale is the easiest sale there is to make because you're already sold. Because if you tell people how great you are, that's bragging. But when others say it, it's great. So what you got to do is you got to be determined, and I mean determination, that you're going to reach the level of superstars, and everybody on your team's got to go there. But it's going to take a tremendous amount of knowledge. This industry is ever changing. I can remember in the 80s, we sold gas products. There was no remote controls. There were no millivolts in those days. It was a simple on and off pilots. And all of a sudden, one day, they came out with remote controls. And if you're in the gas works these days and doing gas work, you know there's all kinds of controls out there for gas. And just like every blue collar trade, if you're going to be successful, you got to move forward into that. So, ever since I've been involved in the chimney and vending industry, I've served a lot of volunteer positions over my time. I've been president of the CSI. I've been president of the National Chimney Sweep Guild. I was a certification chair for NFI when we developed the initial disciplines of wood certification, pellet certification, and gas certification. Remember working with Ben Weathersby so well as we go through that. So in a way, I've been involved in volunteers side. I've been involved in education. I presented seminars. I think the first one I presented was in 1983 at an August West seminar in Nashville, Tennessee. That's 34 years ago this year. It's hard to believe. 34 years ago, I was presenting seminars. So how do you get your team trained and up? Well, one way is, are you a trainer? Ask yourself, are you a trainer? And do you have time to train your people? And see, training's got to be ongoing. Training doesn't need to be 8-hour training, but training needs to happen just about every day. Every leader needs to have a little 5-minute pep talk. You're training your people. And what this is going to show them is, hey, you're involved. You want to see them go there. You see, because the more highly educated and training your team is, it's a simple fact, the more successful they're going to be. Now, training is going to be on their technical skills. It's also going to be on their communication skills. It's got to be on their inspection skills. It's got so many different segments of training, it's unreal. I've often sat here and wondered how many hours of training I've actually authored and written in my career. I've wrote classes from way, way back. And, it's like if I lost that file, I got a lifetime of work sitting on files right now. So how do you get this? Well, you see, there's a lot of things going on. One of the things I want to make you aware of is that both NFI and CSIA have a pile of recorded seminars online. You can access these at any time, beam them right into your people. I see people on the internet today. I see them on Facebook, and they're wanting training. It's like they don't know that these things exist. So the first source you got there to help you is some of the recorded webinars, seminars that are online from those great folks at CSI and at NFI. You've got your back page here at ncsg.org. I look on this, you got the grandy stuff that comes out every month. You got the presentations that we do. Now Spark Marketer is doing it. You got education flying at you in all kinds of new ways. And then when I look across the horizon, what do I see? I see state associations, regional associations. I see distributors. I see manufacturers. And many of these are putting on training and taking it around the country out to the masses. Again, marvelous ways to learn from very educated individuals that are donating their time to help take your crews to the next level. So how many of those have you attended this year? Did you go to the National Chimney Sweep Guild Convention? Have you been to regional gatherings? Hey, if you live in the Midwest, did you go to the meeting they had in the Midwest this year? Uh, this is actually the time that South Carolina is having a meeting. You look at it, there's all kinds of training segments in there and all kinds of fake factors out there. So you've got the educational opportunities. What's the other educational opportunities? Well, hey, we're going to toot our own horn here a little bit. Right now, CVC, we've just launched our online interactive live training. This is where we're going to be doing live training year round, where you can attend, your people can attend as a group. It's live, it's interactive, it's live streaming. They can even ask the instructor questions, and it's going to be answered in real time. This is now rolling out. So look at the choice of education that you have for your people. But the question is it a budget line item? Have you got it planned to where your people can go to this training? Yes, there's a cost involved. But see, where your return is, the more educated your people are, the better they're going to be able to cut the waste, eliminate the mistakes, make more money, understand how to sell, increase your profits. It's all about being that superstar. It's all about being that superstar that's going to go and has the drive, has the determination to go to the next level. You see, what education also does, education excites your people. Education opens up their minds. The educated individual of this world goes to a higher level. And see, but what you got to do is you got to reach out. You got to grab that education and you got to put it to work for you. So that's the thought for this month. Your training program. Have you wrote up a training strategy? If you hire a new person tomorrow, is it going to be just more of the same? Hey, let's put him on the truck with Joe and let Joe show him how it's done. You see, that's what we've done for years. And here's the question. How's that working for you? How's that truly working for you? No mistakes happening, no waste, everything flowing, never have an accident. So that's what you also got to be aware. ASHA, your insurance companies, they're requiring you to move up to a higher level. They truly are. And if you don't have your people trained, if you're not there, then you got to take a real hard look. Because I'm going to go back to the secrets of success I told you to start with. It starts with the leader. Is that you? Leadership involves sharing your vision. Leadership involves building a team of leaders on your team. Leadership's going to involve the culture of your team and the way your culture is exhibited out to your customers. Success is going to involve systems, having the processes, having the systems all put it together. In order to accomplish it, you got to have your financial house in order. You don't know how to do budgets? You got to learn how to do this. You got to know your numbers. And what you got to do is hire the right people. Hire the people for culture. Hire the people because their culture matches your culture. And after you've hired the people, training them is the easy part. The one thing we can't train culture. If you think you can train culture, you're a phenomenal instructor. Because I'm going to tell you what, knowing and being taught by some of the best in the business, by being proctored and mentored by some of the most super programs in this country. I'm a John Maxwell certified instructor. Okay? But John Maxwell taught me methods of instruction. He doesn't teach me my drive. And that's what you've got to remember. Lead your people, get your people trained, get the right culture within your company, get your budget house in order, get your systems in order. You do all these things, you're going to have a phenomenal company. Your company is going to go to the level that you've always envisioned. You're going to have a team of rock stars. Again, it takes training, it's ongoing, and it's never, ever ending. And we're going to end this today on the words of the great Zig Ziglar, who said, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. This is Jerry Eisenhower with CVC Coaching. I want to share with you that once a month, it is an honor and it's a privilege to have the ability to share my thoughts with you. I want to see this industry go to a level that's unheard of, and we still got a long way to go. You're part of that vision. You can make this happen. Let's move forward and let's make it happen. And let's make sure that the chimney and fireplace industries, your companies, are recognized for the value you provide and the way you help raise the lifestyle, make a healthier world, cleaner environment, cleaner indoor air quality, all the good things that you do. But to do that, you got to have the training to provide the services. I want to thank you for joining me. Have a great, great fall. It's in mid-September as you're getting this. And hey, go forth and make 2017 the most super year that you have ever had in business. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Talk to you next month. Look me up hey, follow me on Facebook, CVC Coaching. Putting out a lot of good stuff. Love to share it with you. Talk to you next time.